Hello, welcome to Chris's Beer Reviews. How are you? Hope you're doing really well. As you can tell from the thumbnail, it's not a beer review, it's a cooking review. Not a cooking review. I might review, I will review what I cook. It's a cooking video, that's what I'm trying to say. And I'm going to make my own Carolina Reaper curry. I've got a bag of Carolina Reapers. I sent one to Baz from All the Beer, no idea. And I have eaten one, but I did have to cut it up and eat it in bits. It's a proper chili, is the Carolina Reaper. And the ones I've got are dried, which apparently makes them even hotter. There they are. Carolina Reaper World's Hottest Chili. It is no longer the world's hottest chili. The person who invented these, or created them, should I say, has created an even hotter chili than the Carolina Reaper. I probably will never ever taste that chili in my life. I have no intentions of it. However, the Carolina Reaper is a very interesting chili. There are some quite nice flavours to it if you can get past that heat. So I decided that I'll make my own Carolina Reaper curry. Now, I'm not making this to be mind-blowingly hot. I'm making it to be an enjoyable curry, if that's possible. I have done a Carolina Reaper curry, again, Baz from All the Beer, no idea. We did one live. I think it was on his channel, we did it live. May have even been on mine, I can't remember. And it was punishing, absolutely punishing. But with this one, I aim to make it a bit more eatable by putting a few other ingredients in it that might just tone down some of that chili heat, but still get good flavour and have a nice amount of heat. So I'll show you what I've put together so far, and then we're going to the kitchen and we'll cook it. Now, I don't know whether to cook it on time lapse, so it just does it all super quick, or take my time. I can't quite decide. By the time I walk from the pub shed across the garden into the house, I'm going to have to make that decision whether I time lapse it or film it. Anyway, let me show you what I've got. Let me show you how I'm going to create this curry. So let's get on with it. I'm just going to switch the camera down so you can see what's on the ingredients list, and then I'll be straight back. Okay, so here we go on my chopping board. I've just got one chicken breast. I normally like to use chicken thighs when I make a curry, and I cook them for quite a few hours, and the chicken thighs are just better for it. But I haven't got any, so I've had to use a chicken breast. So there's one chicken breast. We're going to be having some tomatoes in there, the onion. There's down here, we have some fresh ginger, some fresh garlic. We're going to use this Balti curry powder from Spice Mountain down in London at Borough Market. Their powders, etc., are fantastic. It's where the chilies came from. I can make curries from scratch. I can make them all myself, completely from scratch. But I'm just going to use that just for a bit of speed, and I know this is really, really good as well. And we've got a lemon, and there it is, a chopped up, the Carolina Reaper dried chili. That's a whole one. That's a whole one going in there. Just after cutting that up in the kitchen, I couldn't stop sneezing. It was in the air. Then we've got some coconut milk, which hopefully might tone things down a little bit. We've got some yogurt, some coriander to go on towards the end. Some vegetable stock in there, and a bit of seasoning wise, we've got hickory smoked salt. That hickory smoked salt is absolutely fantastic, absolutely amazing salt. If you like barbecue cooking, you like cooking outdoors, and you're going to make your own rub for the meat, you've got to rub your meat, people, get some of that on it. Hickory smoked salt, fantastic stuff. So there's the ingredients we can see there. Got AJ Pure in the glass. I'm going to go into the kitchen and we'll start putting this together, and when it's done, we'll taste it. See you in a bit. Okay, hello, welcome back. So back in the kitchen, that's quite apparent, isn't it? And we're going to start cooking this Carolina Reaper curry. So as you can see, there's a pan there with a big lump of butter in it. That's just melting down. I wouldn't ordinarily use, I did cut myself earlier. I wouldn't ordinarily use a frying pan to make a curry. I'd normally use the cast iron pan, but I am a bit concerned about the Carolina Reaper tainting the pan, which I have had in the past with strong chilies, is they can taint the pan, and that it stays in the pan for quite some time. And my wife Rachel is not a big fan of chili heat, and she used the pan after I'd done a really hot curry in it, and I'd washed it, properly cleaned it, and the heat kind of came out and ruined her dinner, which she was none too pleased about. There is quite a lot of butter in there. It's not going to make much of a difference. It will all start rendering down, especially as more ingredients go in as well. But it's nice to have a nice buttery base to the curry as well. So I'll cook this in parts, and there'll be occasions when I'll pause it and then come back when things have kind of wilted down a bit, like such as the onions, etc. We don't need to sit here watching onions render down, do we? But I'm going to get the chicken in first. Let's get that browned off, and we'll move on from there. Cooking is certainly one of my loves. I love cooking, and I always say I'm going to do more foodie stuff on the channel, and I never really do until it gets to summertime, and then I start doing outdoor cooking. But on the 28th of December, my sister came over with my brother-in-law, their daughter, and my brother-in-law's mum and dad, and I did actually do a chicken shawarma on the rotisserie coal barbecue in the garden. I think that's the first time I've done a barbecue in December, and it was fantastic. So yeah, I like cooking, and at the moment my health's not been good, so I've not really been either one wanting to do beer reviews or two even really fancy drinking beer. So I thought, I'm still unwell. I think I'm starting to slowly improve, but I've got a long, long way to go. Um, and I was in a bit of a flat mood today. I wasn't feeling pretty good. I've had a few knockbacks with doctors and the health service, more so pharmacies, not getting on with what they should do in terms of ordering some really important medication for me. So I had quite a delay, which caused me a week of absolute horrendous pain that didn't need to happen. Then my doctor's surgery, they've also stopped a medication that they shouldn't have stopped. So I had a bit of a battle with them as well. So I was feeling a bit down in the dumps, and I do suffer with mental health problems. I've never been shy of that either, of talking about it. So that's taken a knock of being ill, not being able to work. I love the job I do, so hopefully I can get back to work soon. It always gives me a sense of purpose working, even though I've got purpose. I'm a husband and a father and etc. But working just does something for me. That just makes me feel just a little bit better about things in life sometimes. So there you go. They weren't expecting to hear that while I was making a Carolina Reaper. So yeah, back to my point really. My point was I wanted to do a video to cheer myself up. I thought, well, why not do a curry? Because doing a video, going away up into my shed, my man cave, it's actually called the Open Arms, my pub, and it has got like a hanging sign on the side of it called the Open Arms. I called it the Open Arms. I think there's only one pub in the country called the Open Arms, and I think that's in Coventry. I like the term the Open Arms. It's open to everybody. Anybody that comes around to my house is more than welcome to go and get themselves a beverage from the Open Arms. So yeah, doing a video always makes me feel good, whether it's be a beer video, cooking video, or another videos for my other channel, my Sydney Stomer channel. It just gives me a lift. I feel like I'm doing something and achieving something. So yeah, I thought let's bring you the Carolina Reaper curry. Like I said in the kind of like the intro, I want this to be actually pretty much edible. Most Carolina Reaper curries really are not edible. I want this one to be edible. So we'll see what we can do with it. Well, I'm going to pause just while we let that chicken take on a bit more of a brown, and then I'll be back. Okay, that chicken's cracking on. Some of that butter has rendered down, but there's a nice amount there to get the onions in. Just going to dial that heat down a little bit. Let's pick up this ball of chopped onion, get that in there. I'm going to put in with that the ginger and the garlic. Let's get the ginger in there first. Pop that in. Let's get the garlic in. Garlic's in quite large pieces. Stops it kind of burning a bit as well. And larger pieces, small bits, it will burn. So we'll get that in there, and then the actual Reaper curry itself is coming up. Let's just flick that around. What I want to do is actually get the Reaper on top of this onion. Because I'm a bit worried about the fumes that Reaper's going to give off. Just cutting it up was quite horrendous. So the onions, I chop them in a blender, get them down nice and fine-ish. I don't like huge chunks of onions in a curry. I don't mind it in a Chinese dish if the Chinese dish it fits, like beef and black bean pepper with beef and black bean sauce with green peppers. You get big lumps of green pepper and big lumps of onion. That works. But in a curry, I don't want huge pieces of onion. Now, this pan was clean. I don't know what's on this pan, but it's made things go a little bit brown. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put the Carolina Reaper chili on top of the onion to start sweating it down a little bit before it hits the pan. I don't really want it hitting the pan directly because that's going to cause a bit more. That will cause it to kind of smoke a bit, and that will give off some quite strong chili aroma. So we're just going to let that settle down. As you can see, we've got the onions in there now, we've got the garlic in there, the ginger's in there, the Carolina Reaper's gone on top, chicken is just over to the side, just doing nicely over there. That's going to render down very shortly. Just going to mix that chili up a bit in the onion. I just don't want that filling the air with nostril burning spice. Won't be good for the cats. It won't be good for anybody else. So turn the heat down, which should also help as well. And what I'm actually going to do, this is why there's this big piece of foil sitting there, because like I said, I'd normally do this in a cast iron pan with a lid. So I'm going to have to create a lid just to help that sweat a bit, create a bit more moisture. I'm going to put this over the top, which should actually make that dried chili soften, and it won't give off so much. Oh, it is giving off. That's for sure. It's definitely giving off something. Cool. So I'm just going to let that sweat down for a little bit, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, we are back, and that's rendered down quite nicely. So now I'm going to put the Balti curry herbs and spices on. This is a lovely little pot. I'll read out the back in a sec because what's in it. I want to give that a nice amount. Oh, I might as well just put the rest on it in, to be fair. It's a shame that one's all gone. On the back, I'll tell you what's in here. Well, I'll just show you and you can pause it. Is that focused? My eyesight's so bad I can't tell if that's focused or not. But there you go, pause that. Yeah, Spice Mountain. Based in Borough Market in London. They have got a website so you can buy online, which I generally do. Yeah, go check them out. They do some amazing stuff. I mean, the smell, now I've added that, is glorious. Just going to add a little bit in of this vegetable stock. All this vegetable stock will go in shortly, but just going to add a bit in now to help mix up all those spices, what I've already put in, and of course the Reaper. It's actually not giving off offensive fumes. I thought it would. I was really worried that it would give off offensive fumes, but it isn't, which is really good. Look at that. So it's taken on a lovely kind of curry colour already. I don't know how well you can see that. But you can see it's taken on that nice curry colour. Let's turn the heat up a little bit now. Mix that around. Now I'm going to pop the tomatoes in now. They can go in as well. And then what I will also do is find something to dry my hands on. There we go. Over the other side of the kitchen, of course. So I'm just going to add in a little bit of that hickory smoked salt. It will just give it another dimension to this, wherever I put it. There it is. It's just fantastic. I mean, look at the colour of that salt. Glorious. I'll tell you what it says on the front. Just a sprinkle, that's all that we'll need. It says on the front, smoked with hickory, and with its lovely colour, this salt will add smoky flavours and aromas to anything it is used with. Especially good used on barbecue food, as I mentioned earlier. Include it in marinades, in particular dry rubs, for an authentic deep south flavour. It can also be used as a table condiment, where it marries perfectly with steak, fried chicken or chips. But you can use it in so many different things. And like I say, it forms the base of a lot of my barbecue rubs. It's fantastic. Again, Spice Mountain. No, I'm not sponsored by Spice Mountain. I just think they make great stuff. All right, let's give that a mix around. This is looking like a rather nice looking chicken curry for one. I'm going to pour the rest of that in. Rest of that vegetable stock. Turn the heat up a little bit. And then that will slowly thicken. And then we'll get some yogurt and some coconut milk and a bit of coriander on it towards the end with a little squeeze of lemon. And then we should be nearly there. Should be almost done. So I will see you in a minute. Okay, we're back. That's it's bubbling away. As you can see, it's thickening up nicely as well. So I'm just going to turn the heat down on that. And I'm just going to pop in a couple of tablespoons of yogurt. And that is going to be followed up by a bit of coconut milk as well that I had in the freezer. What I normally do is I buy like the tins of coconut milk, give it a good mix in the can, and then divide it up into a couple of bags and then pop it in the freezer. So let's pop that in. That's more than enough of the coconut milk. And it's, whilst we're at it, whilst you're watching that, let's have a squeeze of a lemon. Don't mind if the pips drop in, it's only going to be me eating it, so I can pick the pips out. Squeeze half a lemon in. I'm going to put it out there, make it very clear. Don't claim to be any type of master chef, just enjoy cooking. Yeah, there's probably lots of you that are watching that saying I should have done this and I should have done that, and that's perfectly fine. You pop that in the comments. I have no issues with that. Just enjoy cooking, just messing around with foods and ingredients and having a good time. That's what it's about, isn't it? I do have a little dry pure on the go. I did contemplate putting mushrooms in it because I do like mushrooms, but I don't know. I might still put mushrooms in it, you know. Who knows? But anyway, I'm going to let that thicken. I'm going to let it chill. Not chill, I don't want it to chill. I'm going to let that just simmer away for a little while, get all those spices, all those flavours working together. It's got a fantastic colour to it. And then next time we come back, it will be in a bowl and going in one's mouth. And we will see how it tastes. Oh, I'll add coriander right towards the end. I'll add a good old handful of coriander. So there you go. I will see you shortly when that'll be in a bowl and we'll be eating it back up in the open arms and we'll see what this Carolina Reaper curry tastes like. See you shortly. Okay, we're pretty much done. I just thought I would show you this bit. I wasn't gonna. I think I said it previously that next time you'd see me would be in a bowl in the shed eating it. But I just wanted to show you now I've left it to kind of simmer. You can see it's thickened up. Look at that. You can divide it. That's lovely. Nice little divide. So almost like a thick kind of gravy going on in there. That looks lovely. So let's get some coriander in. Let's chuck a load of coriander in there. We'll mix that in, whiz it around. Should start breaking up. It was frozen. It was a bag of fresh coriander, but I planned to use it and I didn't. So after a couple of days, I quickly whacked it in the freezer. And I should have cut it up before I put it in the freezer because now it's a little bit clumpy. So let's whiz that, chop that up a bit. Get that nice and chopped. Hopefully that's chopped up a bit. There we go, that's better. Look at it. I'd say that looks pretty decent. Nicely thickened. Nice colours, the red, the green, the lovely curry looking colour. Looks nice. And I'll tell you what actually has surprised me is actually there really hasn't been a lot of Carolina Reaper fumes. There was a little bit to start, but it did fade off quite quickly. I think that's maybe because I did stick it in with the onions and the garlic, rather than putting it straight on the pan itself, which I think managed to reduce a lot of that kind of heat in the air, that kind of pepperiness in the air, because it wasn't on the direct hot pan, and it kind of just took on moisture rather than kind of heated up as such and cooked that way. So that is looking good, people. What do you reckon? Let's get in a bowl. Let's get tasting this. See you in a second. Here we go, people. We are back in the open arms to try out my very first Carolina Reaper curry. And to look at, it looks fantastic. It actually looks more kind of like a Thai curry than anything. Let's see if you can see that. But it does look very nice indeed. Let's have a little sniff. You can definitely smell the coconut. Definitely getting the spices. Ginger. Actually smells quite fresh. It smells like a fresh curry, which kind of gives it more of a Thai vibe, even though it's more of a Balti vibe. So I'm going to clean what's on this spoon, and then we'll get a lump of chicken. I'm a bit concerned, to be fair, because it has got a whole Carolina Reaper curry in it. Oh. Boy, do you know there's a Reaper in there. It's a horrific chili. It really is horrific. But I think because I've put yogurt in it, and I've put the coconut milk in there as well, it's definitely dialed it down. It's definitely allowing me to be able to pick out all the other flavours of the curry. But boy, it has got a heat vibe to it. I think my only regret is I think I should have just left it in that pan for a bit longer, just to make sure everything really had worked together, moulded together as such. But it is hot. But boys, it's got amazing flavour. My mouth, just off licking of that, is starting to salivate. So let's get a bit of chicken on the case. But boys, it got good flavours. I mean, that's a Carolina Reaper curry that you could eat. Know you've got a Carolina Reaper, but you're going to get the other flavours. You're absolutely going to get all the other flavours. Whereas there's so many Carolina Reaper curries out there that they've got one goal, and one goal only, and that's to leave you in a mess. I don't think this is going to do that. Should have done some rice, but this is lunchtime. Well, it's a bit after lunch, and I've got dinner soon. Right, chicken. Let's have a go with the chicken. That was really horrible, wasn't it? Say that out of my mouth. I bet that looked vulgar. But I've just clocked. There's a bit of Reaper on there. That's glorious. Got a hint of lemon. The coriander is giving it a real fresh vibe to it. That is really nice. I dare say so myself. I did put a lot of coriander in, and it's just giving it such a freshness. Oh, that's really good. I need to make that again. Luckily, I said it was a portion for one. There is enough for another portion. Oh, that's good. Let's get a bit of tomato. And again, I don't like to cut garlic up super, super fine. One, you can burn it really quickly. So I can see little bits of garlic in there. I've now got tomato in there, the coriander, you can see it. And this smells good. There's little bits of Carolina Reaper chili in there. That's not a seed, is it? It is a lemon seed. Is that a lemon seed? I mean, that's a bit of onion. You can see the bits of onion. Just looks good. It looks fresh. It looks rewarding. Let's have another bit go on there. Let's put a bit of coriander over there. Well, I'll tell you, I'd really like this. I think Barry from All the Beer No Idea would really like it, but more so, my friend Lee, he likes a bit of spice and he likes good flavour. And I think this would be right up your street, Lee, if you watch this video. Oh, that is so good. That is so, so good. You know, my nose is starting to get a run on, but the heat is really not offensive. What type of curry could I liken it to? don't really know. But in terms of the Carolina Reaper curry that myself and Barry Ford Beard know I did, we did a Carolina Reaper curry, and that was just aggressive violence. There wasn't really a lot of flavour. This is just brimming with all the flavours of that balti. The other bits and pieces that I put in, with some nice rice and the naan bread. Cool, there's a little bit of chili on its own. Oh yeah. Now I can really taste that Reaper, but I'm not getting the heat. I'm getting the kind of flavours of the Reaper. It has kind of a fruity vibe to it, almost a bit of a smoky vibe, and maybe because it's dried. There's a big lump of tomato on this bit. Oh, this is absolutely delicious. Another bit of chicken. Yeah, my nose has got a run on, a little bit of a run, hence the sniffing. Feel a bit warm in the body, but I'm not sitting there thinking I can't finish that. This is really bad. I can't finish it. Don't want it anymore. I'm not sweating. Haven't got a real sweat on, have I? Nope, not really. Oh, this is glorious. That is what I call a curry. And I haven't had a drink yet. You know, this isn't a challenge. It's not a competition where you're not allowed to eat for X amount of minutes after you've finished it. But I'm not looking for it. Don't get me wrong, it's hot, but it's so manageable because all the flavours around it are just working with that heat. It's glorious. I'm going to have a bit of a drink. I'm going to have a go with a Jai Pure because I think this will work quite well. Nice citrusy vibe of the Jai Pure. Just kind of adds to that freshness of this curry. Mouth just warmed up a bit again. But it all works. That all absolutely works. You know, I think it's fairly obvious that I've not struggled. But I've certainly thoroughly enjoyed. That is fantastic. It's so much better than I thought it would be. I mean, that I'd make again. That other portion that I've got in there, I'm going to give that to my friend Lee. I'm hopefully seeing him tomorrow. Depending on how I feel. But hopefully I will. And I'll take that up. And I should be meeting him at the woods. That'll warm him up for lunch. There you go. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. Tell me what you think. Did you enjoy it? What do you think? Do you want to see more of this type of stuff? Let me know. Either way, I'm going to do it. But there you go. I'm all done. Thank you so much for watching. I do very much appreciate you all watching. Makes me feel good. There you go. See you soon.